Hi everyone, I'm Rob, and I'm here to bring to you another excellent collaboration between the Knights of Horror and On the Fence Movie Reviews to bring to you another episode of SlashBack Friday. Now, in this episode of SlashBack Friday, I'm going to review a movie that didn't come out too long ago. It came out in 2017. It's directed by David Bruckner. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, because if I'm not, I do apologize. The movie is The Ritual. Now, as I always try to do, I try not to give too much of the plot, and I try not to spoil anything for you. I'm going to do my best once again. So, The Ritual follows this group of friends, this college group of friends that they're in a bar, they're talking about the trip that that they're gonna plan to go on together, and each one of them has their own kind of place they want to go, and so let me just start off right there. I think they do a great job from that point and kind of before the craziness happens, because it's a scary movie, so craziness does happen. They do a good job of that point of kind of getting you invested with these friends, these characters. I feel like there's enough of them where each one of them has their own kind of characteristic that you can relate to at least one of the people in the group. So I did like that because I found myself being like, oh hey, I know a friend like that, or I got a friend like that. And I liked it. So it gets you more invested with these characters when you can relate to them. As the story kind of goes on, you get more of a sense of who is the leader in the group, who's kind of the follower, who's the sidekick, kind of like that. So, and they, the way they razz each other, you are like, hey, I do that with my friends too, or at least maybe me and my friends do it, to each other. It's all good fun, right? Anyways. So, they decide to go on this trip, and they're hiking through, it's kind of like the plains, but a foresty kind of area, nothing too crazy. Then something happens where they're like, they kind of have to cut the trip short, and the best way to get to where they're supposed to be going is through the forest. That's kind of where I'm going to stop as far as giving you too much details into the plot, because again, I don't want to spoil anything if you have not seen The Ritual. So I'll say this. The things I enjoyed, I like the way they bond you with the characters, the way the characters interact with each other. You really do feel like this is a group of friends that have been friends for a while, and they've kind of grown up together. And just the way they talk to each other, the way they razz each other, how they relate to each other, they do a really good job of getting you invested with at the very least one of the characters. You can kind of relate to at least one of these characters. So I like that. Now, once they get into the forest, stuff starts to happen. And in the forest, I will say this. The way they use sound, because if you've ever been in a forest or in a park, you hear trees, rustling, and the way they use the wind, the way they use sound, as far as just kind of the quietness of a forest, and when the wind picks up, and there's actually some rain part in here, and just the way they use that, it's really, they do a really good job, because it gets you listening to certain things. You're listening for something to happen, but you're also picking up the sounds of a forest, and you may think a forest sounds quiet or calm, but there's a lot of stuff going on in a forest. Anyways, I did enjoy that. Now, the way this movie shot in the forest, I really enjoyed it, because you think, you're outside in, the wide open, well, not so much wide open, but, trees and stuff, but you're outside, but they do a really good job of making it feel claustrophobic, almost like you're trapped in this, like it's a cage of trees, and it's interesting, and I liked it, and I thought it was really cool and unique the way they did it. I'm sure they've done it in other movies, but just the way certain shots were set up, I enjoyed it, and I thought it looked cool. The way they use certain push shots and the tree and your eye line of sight and stuff. I think they play around with that really well, and I liked it. The way they make you think something is there when it's possibly not, or that something's not there, and it possibly is, they do a really good job at that. Just visually, this movie looks good. It looks really crisp, and it's kind of, it's not like, it's definitely not like this expensive budget type of movie where you're like, oh, everything looks, you can this and this and that, but just the way it looks, you feel like you're in the forest with these characters, and that's what kind of scares you a little bit when it comes to scary movies, or thrillers, or any kind of horror movies. If you can feel like you're in there with the character, adds a little more scare factor to it. So I did enjoy that. I get some of the things I didn't like. It's not too many. I guess there are some typical scare, kind of scary, horror movie tropes in this movie that, you kind of come to expect, which, it's nothing too crazy where I'm gonna, say don't watch the movie over. Another thing, things happen where it's kind of weird, but I guess as the movie plays out, it makes a little more sense. But as you're watching the movie, I'm just like, oh, what's going on? But it didn't take me out of the movie. It just, you got to watch the whole movie and it'll kind of make sense. There's a car going by. Anyways, so a couple of things. I'm not gonna complain and say, oh, don't watch this movie because of this thing or that thing. Overall, I think it's a really good movie. I think it's a good scary movie. It's a very creepy movie, and I didn't want to get too into it, but as you watch this, you will feel creeped out. Just expect that. It has a creepy vibe. It's a very scary vibe. Once you get in the forest, stuff starts to roll, and you get a very trapped kind of feeling, and I liked it. And I thought this was a really good movie, and I definitely think you should get off the fence and check The Ritual out. Well, in saying all that, I hope you enjoyed this review of The Ritual. If you did, please hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the Nights of Horror and On the Fence movie reviews. We truly do appreciate all the support you guys have given us. And in saying that, remember, if you ever need to take a shortcut, avoid forests.